The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Well, welcome back to the podcast. We're thrilled to have you back. Welcome to the new podcast room. It's fun. It's
very nice.
Work in progress. So for those that are just joining us, why don't you give a little bit of background history on yourself, and then we'll jump into the SBDC.
Well, I'm Dianne Amerine. I'm the director for the SBDC at Angelina College, and I've been there I've been the director for the past 5 years, but been with the SBDC for 10 years. And I'm a native Lufkinite, born here. Didn't really grow up here, but my family's always been here. And like they say about coming to Texas, we got back as soon as we could.
That's right. That's right. Well, for those that are not familiar with the SBDC, why don't you let people know what it is that you do?
Okay. The SBDC is an organization that helps business owners start, grow, and succeed with their business from start all the way through to their exit plans. So all along the way, we assist business owners with various things that they need: access to capital, marketing, human resources. SBDC is a very big organization, so we have a lot of resources, a lot of brain power. So what our team of 4 can't do, we have people who can assist.
Probably one of our most talked about organizations in the history of this podcast.
Absolutely.
I think we've talked about you, recommended you more than probably anything else that we've talked about. So really incredibly valuable organization. So we're super glad to have y'all here. So how do you work with local organizations? I know you work a lot with the chamber here. You partner with the chamber in education, and how does that work? How's that process
work? One of our biggest legs is training. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't actually do the work for clients, but we make resources available to them. So we work with the chambers, EDCs, of course, Angelina College. I think region-wide, one of the best associations we have is with the Texas Forest Country Partnership, because that's our 12-county region. And that gives us more of an insight on what's really going on in the region and trying to develop, that hand-in-hand relationship where if one grows, we all grow, and working on that. So having the judges in various decision makers in the various counties come together and report on what they're doing and where their growth is, it really helps us to help our clients in a more meaningful way.
I think one of the things that people don't realize is that it's a free service.
It is. It's a no-cost service, and basically our process, I'll talk a little bit about that because people sometimes are confused with what we really do. It's not cookie cutter advising. However, it is through the use of a lot of general information, a lot of resources for research and review. So we use a lot of generic templates and that sort of thing, but that's really in an effort to get creative juices flowing and people to think through what they're doing. And as you can imagine, we have various kinds of clients with a plethora of different needs and requests.
So as small businesses come to you, you've seen, I'm sure, every type of small business from startup to businesses that are already functioning. I think that might be a misconception people have, is that you have to be a brand new business, right, to reach out to you. Is that true?
No, any business can reach out to us. We have people reach out all the time where, I don't know, they're in a place where they need to scale their business and they don't really know how, or they, things change. They need a new marketing strategy. A business is just a living, growing entity that changes based on a lot of things. But, our the needs of the customer and what's going on in the economy. So we help people at various stages along the way.
What would you say right now is probably the largest challenge for small businesses regionally?
Ever since I've been in with the SBDC, the largest challenge has always been the same, and that's access to capital. That's Temple Foundation has done a lot of work to ease that through helping with Communities Unlimited and People Fund, which really help with startups. Access to capital is not usually that big a deal for a business that's established, but for startups, there's always that risk and the unknown.
In a perfect world, a brand new business would come to you and say, "How do I do it correctly from the start?" Right?
Yes.
But I think that's probably hopeful thinking, right? That would happen that way.
It is hopeful thinking. That's always my goal. Ever since I've been in this position, is to make myself known, make the organization known, to get people in as soon as possible. Because, unfortunately, we get a lot of people once they're in trouble.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't
a lot
know
of times,
and they don't know there's help.
Right.
They don't know it's available.
So I imagine you catch a lot of people. You're 2, 3, 5, right? Where it's like, okay, I started this, and then I realized I don't know how to do these parts of the business, type of a thing.
That's right. Or they'll make a misstep just because they didn't know. And every misstep is costly.
Yeah.
When you're in business.
It is.
So.
Absolutely.
So tell us about, you've got, I think you said 4 employees right now. Tell us full-time, part-time.
We have 2 part-time business advisors and a full-time director and a full-time program manager or program specialist. And as the director, half of my time is spent advising as well. So I guess you would say 3 part-time advisors totally.
And everybody kind of has a different niche that they fit into?
They do. We try really hard to have a diversified team. I think we really do do that. And people sort of have their own specialties that they work with the most. And it was really interesting last year at our strategic planning. We, did one of the personality tests and all that. And it's really interesting that of the 4 quadrants, we have somebody in each one.
All quadrants.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
It is great.
That's awesome.
And, and we really work toward having a cohesive team.
I love that. What do you see as the struggle? A lot of our listenership are small business owners, or they work in a small business. And what's kind of the piece of advice you find yourself giving most often to these small businesses?
Well, to the business owner, the advice that I like to stress all the time is to work on your business, not in your business.
I love that.
Because many times people get so tied up with the day-to-day in their business, and I get it. I've owned small business myself, and when money's tight, you think, I'll do it. But people really need to work on their business and as well as in it. But
so what keeps you motivated to keep going? You said you were a small business owner at one time.
Well, someone said to me one time, a retired director from another state at a meeting I was in, he said, "What is the first advice you give somebody?" And we were talking about that. And he said, "Oh, I always tell them, don't do it." And just kind of laughed as a little joke. But the best advice is to be as prepared as you can be. And I use the example all the time. Sometimes I had somebody tell me one time that I could let the air out of someone's balloon. And I said, that's never my intent. But my job is to look for what could go wrong. Have you thought about this? To point out as many things as I can. But, I never thought to caution anybody about a pandemic. That never hit my radar. So I use that as a perfect example. We can brainstorm all day long. We can work on all of this. We can try to make sure that we have every I dotted and every T crossed. But, there's always going to be something that we haven't thought about. And so that's the biggest challenge, is just staying alert and in tune. But I really think that entrepreneurs are born. I'm not sure they're made.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely.
I agree. So how do you stay informed? So there you see different types of businesses from, I'm sure, manufacturing to, someone who sells a product or a service. And how do you stay up on the trends and the things that are happening?
Well, we have some good research tools that help. And then we have the organization. So with our regional office, we have lots of specialists that we can call on, because there are many things that can come up that we just don't have the brain power in our group to deal with. One I can tell you right off is like cybersecurity. We're not equipped to handle that in our group of 4, but we can reach out to the network, and there are people. And another area that we've used before is like people that need, HR manual. We don't have the staff and the expertise to really do that, but we have specialists that do, that we refer them to. They work with them closely, and they get done what they need done. So I think that's the biggest strength that the SBDC brings is, the brain power.
I had the opportunity, I think it was earlier this year. All my days kind of run together, to go to Houston and to go to a luncheon for the SBDC. And I came back with such a new found perspective on what you do, because I think locally we see you help such small businesses. And that is primarily who we refer to you are our small businesses. I never thought, and shame on me, I never thought about the SBDC helping multi-million-dollar companies, because you think about those companies having it all together, that they have their own team that can do all of this. And I got to hear from people that work with the SBDC centers in all these different areas, and to hear about the resources that they, as a multi-million-dollar company, have gained from 20 years of working with the SBDC. And I thought, shame on me for not thinking bigger, but I had such a newfound respect for what y'all do.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. The SBA considers a small business 500 or less employees, where, locally we think of a small business as 20 employees, something
Mom and
like
pop
that.
shop type of a deal.
And it's really not that. And we do have in the network, we have the capability of handling all that. And some of those clients that you saw, they will come as startups, or they will come as a fresh idea, and they will stay with us for years and years and years. Once you're a client, once you sign up to become a client, you're a client till you tell us you don't want us, or you don't respond to our reach out. But even if we close the file, all they have to do is pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I have another idea," or "I'm moving forward with something," and it's we're right back on it. But you're right, there are some very
It was eye-opening. Yeah, it really was. I came back and told the team here, I said, I wish that everybody could see what I just got to experience, because it really did open my thought about all that you do. And the fact that, they talked about this lady that spoke. It was like she picked up the phone and talked to her SBDC advisor, almost like you would talk to a financial advisor or, an attorney about different stuff. They had such a great relationship. And I know that you have that locally. I had just never thought about it on a larger scale. And it was just fantastic. So kudos to what you do for all size of businesses. And we just appreciate, as a chamber, being able to have you here locally and to be able to recommend people to you, because we know when we send people to you, they're in good hands with your team.
Thank you. And as well, we always refer our clients back to the chamber if they haven't joined, because it's the working together. That is how people learn their business community, how they learn their economics in their area, and keep abreast of what's moving and changing, so that their business can move and grow along with it.
Well, it's a great partnership.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So how do people find you? If you're a small business, if you're a business of up to 500 people, if you're a larger business, how do they reach out to you and get started?
Well, the easiest way to reach out to us, usually it will come through a phone call or a recommendation or referral. And the process is very simple. We have a link where they sign up electronically. It goes into that our regional system and comes right back to us when we make personal contact with them at that point. So they'll either call our office or meet one of us out in the community, reach out, and if they call our phone number, they'll get that information. So,
And you're located on the campus of Angelina College.
we are. We have the best location, I think, available. We're in the Community Services Building. We've got great parking right across from Temple Theater, easy to find. Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast again. Like I said before, such an incredible resource that we talk about so often on this podcast. So we're always happy to have you back here to
Thank you.
explain what you do and share your story.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course.
Of course. Thank you. And thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. Truly appreciate your support. And if you want to watch the video version of this podcast and check out our new studio that we're in now, our new podcast space, if you're only listening to the audio version, you're not getting to see our new little setup here. So check that out on the Chamber Facebook page and on the Chamber YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.